Welcome to the TRBusiness video channel. Here we are in Cannes with Baltona Duty Free CEO Piotr Kazimierski. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to joining us.
My pleasure.
Just before we start, just want to reflect on last year before we touch on some of the developments in 2018. Can you just reflect on, please, on overall performance last year and how everything progressed and the key contributing factors?
Well, I must say it wasn't very easy for us, 2017. You may remember we actually had to close Gdańsk operations. At the time, one of our relatively good performing or very good performing operations, so it wasn't easy. We were sad and we had to close, but this is as the life goes. Second half of the year, however, turned out to be much better. Just after losing Gdańsk, we won two very nice and very good concessions and promising concessions. First one in Tallinn, which is our first and only operation in Estonia so far. And second, we won Wrocław. You may remember that we lost Wrocław in 2012 to Heinemann, and now we won it back. So it was very satisfying actually to get those two.
And obviously, reflecting on the on 2018 to date so far, obviously you're up and running now in Wrocław and Tallinn. Can we just reflect on how's the performance been in the early going, and can you just talk about maybe like some of the assortment and the importance of design and sense of place? These are all key elements.
Well, yes, we won both Wrocław and Tallinn. I hope not only from a financial perspective, but also for quality perspective and the design perspective. These were two important factors when judging both offers by the airports. I would say we were very fortunate to get designers from TDS involved in both projects, so they definitely helped in this. Well, both those concessions are in our new format. This is the first. Wrocław is, for instance, the first one where we showed our new format, Spirit of Poland. It wasn't so easy to do this sense of place in both those locations, but I hope that we manage, and both airports like it. I hope passengers like it as well. We were doing, and as you know, we are at the destination airports. This is our main business. That these are not big airports, and the passengers typically spend 40 minutes up to 1 hour there. So showing what is the city about, what is the region about, is getting more and more important. Not only from aesthetical perspective, but also from business perspective.
And to create that lasting impression, you know, it's so important.
This is actually the case, because if you look at the trends right now, people are more and more into emotions, not into commodities. And obviously, if you look at assortment, your question was about assortment. Yes, 80% of what is sold in airports is more or less the same. So it's a kind of commodity. When you create this additional value is by selling the region, by selling memories and selling emotions. Obviously, we are about selling, so it may not be obvious at the very beginning, but yes, we are selling emotions. And if you look at the trends right now, all the Instagram brands, all the new coming brands in the market, they are everything. It's about emotions and about sense of place in our case, which is very closely connected to where we are and what we do.
And obviously, just taking a look back, what were your reflections of the tender the two tenders that you won? I mean, you won in Tallinn, as you mentioned. You won in Wrocław. I mean, you can never be, you know, when you submit a proposal, you can never be 100% confident you're going to try it. But what are your just reflections of the whole process? Was it smooth? And just maybe, like, what were your aims in terms of your proposal? I know there's certain things you can't divulge there, but
no. But I mean, it's a very good question, because I mean, I think we were very lucky to win in those two particular locations. First of all, as I mentioned before, not only financial offer mattered, was important, but also the design and what we promised to the airport, to both airports. I mean, what we promised we are delivering. So I think that this is something that airports are happy about. passengers are happy about. As far as the tender process itself, I don't see anything specific or special about either of them. I mean, they were fairly, from my perspective, fairly transparent, fairly okay, and there were first offers and second offers and quick negotiations in both, and this is fairly common process, I would say. So, but what's more important, I think, is, you know, if you look at the concession, obviously when we were bidding for Wrocław, it was a bit easier because it's our local airport, so we kind of know the passenger profile, the passenger mix. It's easier to build a trustworthy and reliable model. If you bid for a brand new distant location like for Tallinn, you have to rely on some gut feeling. You may make mistakes. You may be plus minus 10%. Different from the actual situation there, from the actual P&L, actual SPP. But as I normally say, winning the concession is the easiest part of the whole process. So, because it's an Excel exercise, it's a PowerPoint exercise, it's a presentation exercise, and this is how you find common grounds and some kind of chemistry with the airport people. But when it comes to executing and when it comes to construction, I think we were very lucky and fortunate that we got those two concessions, because both in Tallinn and Wrocław, airport people, both CEOs were very helpful. Obviously, there were two different processes, because in Tallinn, if you remember, there was the whole terminal and security screening section. They've been relocated and renovated, expanded actually. So we were kind of put into the process of changing the airport, of changing the passenger flow, which was very convenient, but also it was very challenging, because we had to fit into the schedule of something bigger. In Wrocław it was a bit easier, although it took much more time than in Tallinn, because of the fact that there are only five shops in Wrocław. It's not a big terminal. It's not a big terminal if you look at it. So phasing sequence of opening, sequence of work, and phasing the whole project took us more than 6 months to be completed. So without proper support from the airports, from the airport authorities, we wouldn't have done that, I think, that smoothly.
Excellent. And obviously, following on from Wrocław and Tallinn, you know, preparations are ongoing for the opening in Warsaw. Can you just tell us maybe how far advanced are you, and when we can expect the operations to begin in Warsaw?
Yes, we are opening 14 shops in total in Warsaw on the whole Terminal 2 operation. We are opening, except for obviously duty-free and core duty-free business, we are opening convenience and fashion outlets. We are having the whole T2, including non-Schengen zone, so this is going to be a big and challenging operation. It's not only during the opening, but also during the concession time, because this is our main, this is where we are, this is our main, it is going to be our main business, and the biggest business by location. So it's a complex process. Obviously, 14 locations to be open virtually at the same time is a challenge. We are now we have opened so far 2 temporary locations. So this is something that we wanted and agreed to do as a temporary, as a kind of remedy for shops being closed. Obviously, if you follow it a bit, you know that the concession of Lagardère in this terminal ended at the end of June. So it wasn't very fortunate to have the shops closed during the summer holidays. However, I mean, this is a fairly big space, fairly big terminal. Lagardère is operating in T1 with a fairly big and nice operation. So I hope that the transition period was not so bad for the passengers. But as we are going forward, we are now working on all the shops to be open. there is the biggest challenge is in the 1,200 square meter shop, which is in front of the security screen, obviously. I think that the opening, we will open most of the shops until the end of the year. The last shops we are taking over in January, so the last shops will be open probably early spring.
Excellent. And just finally, really, we've talked about several different locations there. I want to just ask you about your digital strategy. I mean, there's not a conference in travel retail that we don't go to where digital, the evolution of digital concepts in travel retail isn't discussed. Where does Baltona sit on this? Are you trying to embrace digital within these outlets?
I think if you look at this from the bigger perspective, from the passenger perspective, it's not only about a retailer. We are just one example of a retailer, but it's not about the retailer itself, because this is a part of the process on the customer journey to, let's just say, from the ticket office or from the curb to the air deck. But we are obviously starting to build some consciousness in passengers, how to communicate with using digital media. I think that this in Poland is the business, or is a part of the business that is slowly growing. So so the seed has been planted, and we are just now watering. We will see how quickly it's gonna grow. We are for Warsaw. Yes, we're planning to do a fairly big digital experience. Obviously, digital has few meanings and many meanings, I would say. We have. I keep commenting, unfortunately, and denying to answer questions like that, but in order to show some surprise, to present a surprise to customers.
Important.
But what we plan to do is a lot of colors, a lot of movement, obviously using screens, using LED light, and some. What we want to create is some emotional experience that passengers will be able to take or to memorize, to take with them or to memorize them, but this is I think fairly say this is on a bit standalone basis, so it doesn't fit into any bigger strategies, not only in Warsaw but in any other airport, because most of the airports we operate in are fairly small, as I said before. Fairly small, as I said before. They are destinations, so it's more about the region, about selling the experience than outside of the airport than within the airport. These are not hub airports where passengers spend a lot of time. So.
That's excellent. Thank you very much, and all the best with the opening in Warsaw. I look forward to hopefully seeing it myself.
You are invited.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.